All right, we're live where we talk entre programmers where we talk about Apple products.
Yes.
It's an Apple amputation.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but I guess yeah, because we were talking about earbuds, like one earbud. But if you take one, if I guess if a cop pulls you over and he's like you're listening with both earbuds, yeah, you can like obviously he can write you a ticket.
Yeah.
But if you go to court, then you'd have to go to court. No one could ever prove, could they ever prove that you're listening with any number of earbuds in your ears?
No.
Right? It'd be like,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't.
Well,
So,
well,
you know,
my one thing that makes it a little harder for me is I have a habit of running. I like to put my the cord inside my shirt, like inside my T-shirt, so it's not getting caught on all kinds of things. And so, like, basically, if I did get pulled over, I'd be sitting there with like two earbuds dangling across the front of my shirt, and he's gonna be like, son, what were you doing there?
all right, I've got something for you.
All right.
Shoot, I can't. It's called like OBKey or OddKey.
I can totally see the police officer. Mr. Earl, what's in your shirt?
Okay, I'll have to find this thing. But I bought this device. Okay.
Okay.
What it is, because like you probably with an old car and a cheap stereo, you don't have Bluetooth, the enhanced Bluetooth version, which is the one that can stream audio, right? You can only do your phone if you even have Bluetooth at all, right? So I got this device. It's called OBKey or OddKey. I'd have to look it up. I can't seem to find it on the search now. But what it does is you plug it into the aux, right? It's got a microphone jack, right? And you plug it into the aux on your stereo. And then and then it has a USB thing, so you can plug it with a USB charger, cigarette lighter thing, right?
Okay.
And then you turn this thing on, and it's a Bluetooth device. And so it gives you so then you just connect your phone. So as soon as I get in the car, I just connect my phone and to Bluetooth to it, and then my stereo speakers are whatever's coming out of my iPhone. So I don't need to use earbuds in the car.
Yeah, I had Bluetooth. Actually, my van does have Bluetooth, I think. But I found that it was like for a while I had a Bluetooth headset, like the Jawbone Bluetooth headset. Yeah. And then I was actually trying to switch back and forth between the phone connecting to the stereo and the phone connecting to the Jawbone, and it was such a pain. Like it always took a few, like it took 30 seconds to a minute. And when I go out, like I never leave my house, right? And when I go out, I'm going to Walmart, which is a mile away. So I jump in my car, back out of my driveway. I drive for like 3 minutes, and then I get out of my car. And then I walk into a store, and then maybe I like get back in my car, drive another 2 minutes, and then go to another store or go into the post office or something. Like, so I like to for me, the earbuds are just easier because I just leave it in, and I'm in and out of the car, enough that it's just it's annoying. I actually bought a wireless Bluetooth, like a really tiny one, like one of those little tiny micro ones that entirely fits inside your ear.
What?
And yeah, there's like
That's
really
crazy.
tiny ones that are the size of a hearing aid, and it was okay, but I like the thing is like if it's got any buttons on it for you to push, like for the to trigger Siri or whatever, you're clicking directly into your eardrum. It's like if you were to
Like shoving it into your ear.
Yeah, it's like stabbing a ballpoint pen into your ear and then clicking the little thing to extend and retract it, and it sounds like someone's hitting you in the side of the head with a board or something. It's like, yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, low tech.
You have to surgically press those buttons.
Yeah. Yeah, low tech is the best solution for me right now.
Okay. Yeah, the OddKey thing, I had the same problems before because I had an FM transmitter and that was like pain.
Yeah.
But the OddKey, I think that's what it's called now. Nope, that's not what it's called. I don't know what it is. But anyway, like I basically like when I pop over to the gym, I've got my wireless headphones, these Aries 2.0 ones, and I'll just hold down the button as soon as I get in the car, turn it on, bam, it connects like in a couple of seconds to my phone, hit play, and then when I turn off my car, and I just turn on my wireless headset, it automatically picks up on my phone, and I do this every day, no problem. So it works. But if I can understand, like I've had Bluetooth problems. I've found the two devices that just work Bluetooth wise.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
I was at Radio Shack the other day, and they had, the old cassette things that you could put into your cassette deck, and then it would had a cord that you could plug into your headphone jack.
Yeah.
Apparently, they now have those with Bluetooth in them.
Weird.
And yeah, they sell them for like $50. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend $50 on that. But our car does have a cassette deck on it.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I was sitting there going, I wonder if I get this on Amazon for like $10 or $15.
I'm not sure what's more surprising about that particular thing, the Bluetooth cassette or the fact that you were at Radio Shack.
It's the only place that sells little electronic components that I needed to.
They still exist where you live? That company went bankrupt and shut down all of its stores.
It's got stores. It's just, but
they actually sold off to another company that does like Sprint stores.
Okay.
And so they actually closed the store that was closest to me because it wasn't large enough to put like the phone display tables on, which kind of made me sad. But
yeah.
The funny thing about Radio Shack, when you go in there, it's like the salespeople are like all over you because they're like, a customer! I haven't seen a customer in like a couple of days. Like, you want to buy a computer?
That's pretty much how I feel about Radio Shack around here too.
I don't want any of the crap that you've like doubled the price of. I just want the only thing you can. The only reason why you actually would go to Radio Shack would just to buy like these little weird electronic pieces.
Yeah.
There's still all this other stuff, and it's like 3 times the price of the normal.
Yeah. My first job was at Radio Shack, like after high school. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. It really was. Yeah, because it's a store. They basically completely lost their way. Like they decided to try to move into consumer electronics.
Yeah.
And there was no advantage. They had no reason to be in that space other than like older folks who were used to going to Radio Shack and trusted Radio Shack were, would consider going there to buy their cordless phone. Oh my gosh, I spent so many long hours in the evenings explaining to, 79-year-old women how to program their universal remote control. That is wrist-slitting territory right there, my friend. That is
You know where Radio Shack missed about, though, really? The whole maker thing. If I were running Radio Shack, this is what I would do, because their reputation has always been for the.
They tried to get into that.
Well, they should have just had it all full of Netduinos and Arduinos and all this stuff.
They just didn't advertise
3D printers. But got rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's where I would go for all of my Arduino stuff.
Oh, really?
It was the only place in Waco that carried that stuff.
Ah, okay.
And they had a pretty good supply of it. I mean, they didn't always have everything I needed, but 9 times out of 10, when I needed just general parts for Arduino and I wanted a new Arduino board to screw around with or another adapter for it, I'd go to Radio Shack and they would have it.
Did they do the little like Home Depot things that Home Depot's so good at, where they have like?
That's where they screwed up.
Okay, yeah, they should have had those sessions like coming in, let's make a robot together, and then you gotta buy all these parts from us.
Right, come spend $100 or $50 or whatever, and you'll walk away with all these parts that you can build yourself, and we'll help you put it together in store. Something like that would have been awesome.
Yeah, they saw the do-it-yourself thing dying.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely a shrinking market, but I think they still owned it.
Yeah, I mean, Radio Shack had the market for that stuff back in the 80s and early 90s, and then that market kind of died for a number of years, but it's had a huge resurgence with Arduino and Netduino and BeagleBone and everything else.
The Internet of Things stuff, with all the microcomputing devices.
Exactly.
Really brought it back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was buying for. I was, we have an Arduino Uno in the Pinewood Derby track, and I had to hook a bunch of crap up to it, and so I kept going over there and buying parts.
Yep.
And I have to go 2 towns over because they closed the one here.
Chuck, do you actually have a black eye, or is there just a shadow?
It's a shadow.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
We don't bring up spouse abuse in this podcast.
That Pinewood Derby track, man, it's dangerous.
I know, right? Yeah, Josh came over to my house last night and beat me up.
Well, you paid him to do that. I mean...
You saying I had it coming?
First rule of Josh Club is you don't talk about Josh Club.
So John, how far? I was going to ask John, how far away are you sitting today from your?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm making improvements. So I've got. So what I've done now is I've been buying glasses for $11.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got these pair of glasses now. They're nice here. So they're about 1 diopter less prescription than my regular prescription. So I'm wearing these all the time pretty much now. So and I can see pretty good in them. Like I can drive and function everything. I just can't see quite as sharp as my regular prescription. So I'm doing that to get extra distance training in place. I also have bought a pair of +1 reading glasses, and when I'm doing my typing, I sit this close to the computer with those on, right? And that really handicaps me. So we'll see. So I'm going full. If this works, it will work for me because I am not taking half measures. I am going full measure and beyond. I've also ordered another pair of $11 glasses from like Zenni Optical. It's pretty awesome. You can just get glasses for like seriously $11 shipped. Ridiculous, right? So I ordered another one that is -1 diopter in each eye. So basically, what I'm doing now, having to sit this close to see, I should be able to sit back here and still have to like focus so we'll see. I'm basically training the hell out of it. So far, I don't see any progress. I don't know if it seems like I'm sitting closer or further away, but it's been like a little over 2 weeks. If I don't see any progress at all in a month, like any kind of noticeable progress, I'll probably just can the thing and call it a day. But I can't tell you how difficult it is to like type to be. It's just wrong because it's hard enough to learn how to type properly and type at like 10 words a minute. But when your face is up to the screen and you can't even see the keyboard if you wanted to, it's just like
Poor John is like it's like you're dealing with glaucoma and arthritis.
You're straining your eyes. You're giving yourself sunburn from the heat off the screen. You're probably getting radiation poisoning. And you're typing at 10 words a minute, and you can't look at your keyboard.
And let's not forget this. I also don't eat until 5 o'clock every day, and when I do eat, it's bacon. No carbs.
You are a walking time bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the commentary about him sitting so close to the monitor that the radiation can both give and cure cancer at the same
time. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's a big experiment. But the typing is coming along fairly well. Like, I've completed all the typing courses, so now I'm I'm in this half mode where, like, I can type faster with 3 fingers. I can type 60 words a minute with 3 fingers, but I can type like 10 to 15 words a minute doing it right.
Yeah.
And so like I answer some emails doing it right, and then I'm doing the exercise. I'm hoping if I keep doing the exercises 30 minutes a day, that I'll get up to a point where I'm like 35, 40 words a minute, and then I can just make a full switch and not mess around. But it's hard. I wish I would have learned the correct way. Like it's way harder than I thought.
Oh, and I should muscle memory and all that.
Yep. I should address this too, like Dvorak versus like a lot of people were like, why didn't you learn Dvorak or the new one? All the research that I read, actually, it's a myth that that keyboard design was such to slow down type. Like partially true, but not really. Like it's still optimized, but it's not as optimized as possible. But everything I've seen says that there's actually no real measurable speed improvement. Yeah. That's been proven for Dvorak. Obviously, your fingers move less distance, but it doesn't matter microseconds. Like so.
Yeah. I mean, if you think it's sort of like, so I'm working on improving my writing speed again, and I can type probably 70 to 100 words a minute if you put me in front of typing software. But when I write, I'm only writing like, less than 1,000 words an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, like 10 total minutes of solid typing. Like if I type the Quick Brown Fox over and over again, I could write, probably 6 times more in an hour. So yeah, how much is that really going to help you versus how much time you spend thinking about every word?
Typing is not what we do in our professions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an important skill, but we're not dictating from people live talking, so we don't have to go 120, 130 words a minute.
Right. Yeah, and the other thing, like for me, I try really hard to avoid customizations that are going to be different from computer to computer.
Yeah.
I hate, like, it would drive me nuts to sit down at somebody else's computer and want to check my email one day and like have it be used to Dvorak. That would just be maddening.
So Dvorak would be fine, actually, right? Because like there's a new one, I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be better than Dvorak. And that one I would never do just because of what you said. But Dvorak, if you learn, like people that type Dvorak, they know exactly how, like in 5 seconds, to switch the keyboard over to Dvorak, like every single operating
Yeah, but that's only because you've learned. Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, so they could switch over.
I'm not going to do that at my in-laws, though.
But to go to that point, see my keyboard for my computer?
Yeah.
Notice what kind of keyboard it is?
It's a
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, tiny.
Mac Bluetooth.
Right.
Yeah.
So because for your point, I specifically I had a nice like DOS keyboard type of like Cherry MX switch, and I was like no, I'm going with this keyboard because I have a Mac.
Yep.
And when I am portable, I can't freaking type because
exactly. Yep.
So this is the exact same keyboard that's on the laptop. Oh.
Yep.
So I've got the Logitech K750, which is it's a Mac keyboard. It's standard size Mac keys. It's a full size keyboard instead of the mini one like you have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's solar powered, which is really nice.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I've got the we're doing all Apple here.
Yeah.
I've actually got the official Apple USB because Apple has not yet learned how to make Bluetooth work.
Yeah.
Because they insist on using aluminum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seems to interfere with Bluetooth signals, and every time I would
Bluetooth or RF?
What's
You're
that?
on Bluetooth, John.
It's Bluetooth.
Oh,
yeah.
It works fine.
Yeah. Well, every time I would take my computer 6 feet over to my couch, it would be like connecting, disconnecting, connecting.
I'm sitting right in front of it.
Yep.
Disconnecting, and there's no way to disable that stupid message. So it was like, screw it, I'm going USB.
So I'm the weirdo.
Yeah. Oh man.
I see you've got the DOS keyboard or is that a what's that other company that makes them?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one I got, but yeah, I think it was a DOS. DAS DOS, not DOS.
Right.
DOS.
But you got those like Cherry MX switches, those nice.
Yeah, mine are the white switches.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're not as loud, and they're not as hard to get past the the switch to press it in.
I think it's funny that the only reason anybody on this podcast or any of our audience knows what you two are talking about right now is because of that one Jeff Atwood blog post. Nobody in the entire software development industry gave one rat's ass about the stupid frickin' switches in keyboards until Jeff Atwood suddenly said that he cared, and then, everybody suddenly cares, and they have to have what he said is the best,
and then
a keyboard.
And then he created a keyboard
that he will never sell to anyone.
And I the guy's awesome, right? I don't want to knock him, but he sucks so bad at marketing that he spent all this time creating his keyboard and he didn't market it, and he sold like 5 of them, like with one.
They were like $300.
He could be making a fortune off of those keyboards if he just. I don't know.
All right, Jeff Atwood.
Yeah.
Entre Programmers, Episode 1, go. By the time you catch up, you will be a marketing master and you will have made your millions.
Him and Scott Hanselman pissed me off so much because I'm like, you are wasting this ridiculously huge.
And they don't do any actual marketing.
Yeah. So, one other thing, keyboard related, Mac keyboard related. So this was one of the things when I switched to Mac, I was like, dang, what? I use page up and page down all the time, right? And home and end.
Yep.
Mac doesn't have that. It does.
It does with the function key, function arrows.
The function. If you hold down the function key and you hit the arrows, it does page up, page down, home and end.
Yeah, see, this keyboard, this Logitech keyboard actually has page up, page down, home and end on it, and it put the function key in this really weird spot up here.
Yeah, that's where Apple did that. That's what
Apple did that too?
Yep. Yeah, it's the Apple layout.
Because on my laptop, the function key is still bottom left.
Ditto. Yeah. No, it's the full size Apple layout.
Okay.
Yeah. On my ginormous expensive keyboard, it's on the bottom right.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I got the one that just like the laptop one, so that I can't be handicapped by the page up, page down, because I use it all the time. So now.
But yeah, when I first switched to a Mac from Windows, I was like, "Where's end? Where's home? Where's page up?" And somebody told me, "Oh, just hold on function and use the arrows." Like, oh, okay, that works.
Oh, speaking of which, Microsoft just missed me by like 1 year or 6 months when I switched from my desktop to just laptop. Because if the Surface Book would have come out then, there would have been no way. I would have said, no way, Mac, I'm going with it. Because especially with Windows 10, like, I'm so tempted now to just like throw away all my Mac stuff and just get a Surface Book, but I don't know.
That does look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted too.
Yeah, I still like after using, some people are going to hate this. I still think Windows is better than Mac. Like
there's so many things that it does better. I mean, I've been on my Mac for like 5 years now, and there are so many things that Windows does better.
Yeah.
Like window management for one thing.
Yeah.
And multiple monitors, and Mac has better virtual desktop. It's built in, which is really cool, but multiple monitors is so much better in Windows.
Virtual desktop's in Windows 10 now.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh,
built
nice.
in, right at the bottom. I just upgraded my VM to Windows 10.
Yeah.
And then the other thing. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I tried. There were a couple of virtual desktop plugins that
I
tried, and they were awful. I found them to be just really.
Mac Finder still can't cut and paste.
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah. I don't understand.
It's 2015, and you can't cut and paste in Finder.
It can. It just doesn't work right. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. You can't do it without using the mouse. There isn't a way to do it from a keyboard. You have to. I typically.
Well, you can with Total Finder.
Yeah, with Total Finder, and I love Total Finder, except El Capitan broke the way Total Finder works because of that new SIP security system. So Total Finder, if you leave SIP turned on, which is a highly recommended thing to do, if you leave SIP turned on, you can't use Total Finder anymore. It's really driving me nuts.
I haven't upgraded yet.
I love Total Finder.
Gosh, that sucks.
There's a lot of really great features in El Capitan that are catching up to Windows. It's serious.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I still like Windows better. I mean, there's some really nice. I think the nice thing for me about being on Mac is there's some really nice apps. I mean, the apps are really, but they are more polished, and they're, a lot of times companies only build desktop apps for Mac.
The developer story on a Mac is so much better as well. That's the reason I switched, and that's the reason I won't go back. It's so much easier to do all of my development work on the Mac, and I have far more confidence that it will run when I deploy it to a Unix or Linux environment than I do when I deploy from Windows.
Yeah, if Microsoft would just get like a, I don't know. I mean, obviously they can't they could reboot the whole thing off of Linux, but if they had, like, if I could just open up a terminal prompt and have the same kind of functionality.
Ooh, PowerShell.
Yeah.
PowerShell is like the worst of Bash and C# mashed into an XML document.
Yeah, servers run on Linux. It's cheap. You have to be able to duplicate that environment. Mac does that. That's today, right? If you're a Windows developer, then it's different, but.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I still do Windows development. I still do .NET stuff for my one client because I mean, being a giant healthcare network, they literally have everything you can imagine. Linux and Macs and Windows and AIX and Unix, and I mean, they just recently got rid of their old mainframe system, so it's they got everything. So I have to deploy for all these different environments, which means, for me, a Mac makes a lot more sense with that client because I can get all of those environments on the Mac a lot easier.
It's funny because Windows is actually Microsoft has actually kind of shot themselves in the foot because so many people buy. It's like if you're going to buy, Apple refuses to be accessible, or refuses to make their stuff accessible.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to do anything Mac related is to have a Mac. But Windows is flexible, so you can have a Mac and do both.
Yep.
Well,
and now, I mean, you buy an iPad, and they're advertising Microsoft Office on your iPad.
Right.
Microsoft is doing a lot of brilliant stuff these days by going cross-platform like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they've totally changed their image, right?
Yeah,
they're showing up on Hacker News all the time, right? I mean, it used to, if you posted anything Microsoft on Hacker News, it used to be like, oh, you're a shill, Microsoft, the evil empire. Now it's like every time Microsoft announces something, like there's like positive threads on Hacker News. It's like totally shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is not this is not your grandfather's Microsoft.
Yeah. So I guess we should get into some real entrepreneur talk here. We're talking programmer now, entrepreneur. So what do you guys think? What's up? Who wants to go first?
Well, I guess I'll go. So I've been working on my email pitch for Watch Me Code on my mailing list. I've got my best of campaign launched and running. It sent out its first email this last week, and it got like 32% open rate on that one email.
Nice.
Which is pretty awesome. 6% click rate. So that's pretty good for the first email in that. And with that, I'm setting up my pitch campaign, the benefits of Watch Me Code, and I've got an outline of 9 emails that I'm writing. I've written 5.5 of them, 6 of them already. One of them I'm like, this really needs to be reworded entirely and rewritten, but at least I got it done for now, and I can go back and fix that one later because I want to get this thing done. But the thing that I'm doing differently with this that I've never done before is I'm going to be using the lead scoring from Drip. So when people open an email, they get 1 point. When people click a link in an email, they get 3 points. And the default lead score in Drip is like 60 points, which seems pretty reasonable. That's if you're getting 4 emails a week from me and you're clicking on 1 or 2 of them, then you're going to be racking up, probably 10 points a week. So after about 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks of being on my mailing list, you're gonna get put into this benefits of Watch Me Code campaign, which is going to go across 2 weeks.
Nice.
The first week on Monday is, hey, check out these free episodes on Watch Me Code. Wednesday is, what did you think of those? If you haven't had time yet, here's the short 5-minute ones that you can watch real quick.
I love that idea. That's
by
perfect.
the way, let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any questions, because you never know, your question might end up being one of these free episodes. So I'm trying to build engagement and trying to get people really into at least watching one of the really short episodes. And then that Friday, I send out you've watched these episodes, they're great, right? They're super short, they're right to the point, they're really valuable, and there's more to come with Watch Me Code, and I've got something for you on Monday. So the next Monday, I'm sending them the hey, thanks for sticking with this. I've got a discount code for you for Watch Me Code. Get $5 off your monthly subscription and all that. And then I go into a couple of here's the real value and benefits. And I'm working on your suggestion, John, of having that email for frequently asked questions or whatever to knock down the concerns that people have. I'll be publishing that one like Friday morning, and then Friday evening will be this is your last chance to get this discount. So it's 2 weeks worth of emails that are going to be triggered based on your activity on my mailing list, clicking links and opening emails and whatnot. So hopefully, by the time people get put onto this, they won't mind getting the extra emails for 2 weeks, and they'll turn into a subscriber.
Yeah, I think it's got a good shot. I mean, and I like your approach with sending the sample videos and then asking them for feedback and sending the shorter sample videos.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, here's a 5-minute one, so then they're going to be more likely to. I think you're going to get good return on this. I think this is going to have a decent conversion rate, and this is going to really be the thing that's. I think this is you're going to look at this point in Watch Me Code and say this was the turning point where like. You know, that's my optimistic.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about this as well. I think you're right in terms of what it can do. I want to get the last 3 emails written and done today and get the campaign launched next week, and that will give me basically another week to clean up these last emails that are not so well written at this point, which should be enough time. And even if not, this is going to go out to however many thousands of subscribers on my mailing list right now. But as I continue to clean these emails up, the new subscribers to my mailing list are going to get the cleaned up versions, and it'll do better.
Derek, you might want to consider. Do you have lead capture data already on your subscribers?
Yes.
That 60 points I think is high. So
I don't think it is.
Well, it also has a delay. There's also a decay on it. If you don't, I think you might be able to turn that off. But the points actually go away after a certain amount of time by default. I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, double check it. And I mean, for me, I would say I'm just concerned that it's going to be not 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to be more like 12 to 15 weeks, or longer before anybody hits that. You might be able to do a query to see where people actually are. Let me look at mine.
You may be right about that, because I just did a segment in my subscriber list for score greater than 60. And I've only got 562 people in that list out of 5,800 people on the list.
Only 10% are actually hitting that.
So let me see if I can find like the.
Yeah.
If I drop it down to 30, I get 1,000 people.
So it kind of comes down to this. Like, the real question is, why even do this at all? Like, why not just send it to everyone? And the answer would be because the only answer that makes sense to me would be if you wait long enough for them to have clicked enough things or engaged enough, then you don't scare them away. Whereas if you send it too early, they might get overwhelmed and scared away and not be interested.
Like, I just signed up for your mailing list and you're already pitching me hard. I don't want this.
Right.
Versus, hey, I really like your stuff. I've been reading it for a while now.
So, but there's also, like, on the other end of it, if you wait too long, they have this initial interest when they've just signed up. Yeah. That's the best time to pitch someone, like, or close to theirs. So I think I would agree with Josh. Like, it should be a very, very low bar, just enough to show that they've done something and they've engaged you in some way, maybe 30 points or even 20 points, like just enough, and then do it, because you don't want to lose it. Like, the point where people are most likely to respond is when they've just signed up, when they're engaged. I think that interest level could drop off. I mean, you could play with the different levels, but I'd rather pitch someone hard and have them turn away and not come back than not pitch them, then do all this work to get them on my list and then lose them because their interest died before I even got a chance to pitch them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it when we do sales and stuff, when we send all these emails, and you're like, wow, like, I'm afraid everyone's going to get pissed off and unsubscribe. Well, yeah, some people are, but, like, pitching hard is good, because then, like, you get, like, it's better than the alternative. Like, you feel like it's too much, but then, hey, if people are interested, they're going to buy it, and then, the people that get turned off and unsubscribe, they're people that are never going to buy anyway. So
yeah, that may be true. Interestingly, I put in refresh for lead score greater than 500. I have 7 people on that list.
Okay, well there you go. That's your 1%, right?
There's my 1%ers. Look, I'm one of those 7 though.
Okay.
But I recognize 2 out of the other 6 people. I actually know one of them, know who she is, and one other guy. I know his name, but I don't really know him.
What query is that?
In the subscribers, do a segment lead score greater than, and I put in 500.
Than 500. Yeah. I only went up to 100.
The highest lead score in drip for me is 1,133.
Holy cow!
Holy cow!
Holy crap! I thought I only went up to 100. I'm gonna.
No, it depends on like if you turn off the the decay. I'm pretty sure that that's.
This person, she's been on my mailing list like since day 1.
Huh. I've got 23 greater than 500. I've got 8 greater than 700.
Yeah, I changed mine to be. Oh,
one's me.
3 points for an open, 5 points for a click. This was before Rob changed it so that you could set your own threshold because it was like it had to be 60. And then if you opt in, I give you 10 points depending on the opt-in source.
Yeah.
And that is so. And my threshold was 30. This was just to trigger.
Holy crap! Yeah. I've got someone that has 3,900.
Wow.
Holy. Okay. Now one caveat here is I suspect that.
I hope they bought my thing.
Well, okay. So one thing with email opens is that devices will often open an email multiple times. I've got, I use the email tracking software when I send stuff out to clients. Sometimes when I want to see if they opened it, and sometimes I'll get like multiple notifications from them. So I'll get like 3 or 4 successive. Like this one guy I'm talking to right now, Todd. He just paid me for my discovery process. He's officially a client. I had emailed him back in like early July, I think, and then I hadn't heard from him. But I kept seeing, I get a little pop-up notification whenever somebody opens my email, and I kept seeing his name pop up like a couple times a week, and it would happen like multiple times in a row. And I think it was just his inbox refreshing. But it was funny, because I emailed him, and then he came back to me like 2 months later. And was like, let's work together.
Well, maybe, he must have been looking at your stuff.
Yeah.
I've got someone with 21,149.
Wow.
How is that even possible? He hasn't opened everything. Or I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. He became a lead like in June with a lead score of 93, and then he's got a bunch of emails that he never opened. And now he's 21,000. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list of people with a score greater than 19, and I'm seeing a very large number of people that were very recently added to my mailing list are already sitting well above 30, 40, 20, 30, 40. So this I wonder if some of the older subscribers are just not getting their lead score tracked appropriately.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that I'm looking at the settings page right now, and it says
I just turned it on for my account, so
there are 300 subscribers in your account that are good candidates for lead scoring. We might not have complete lead scoring data for all these subscribers. We'll do our best to calculate accurate scores for them. So
wait, see that?
It's in the settings page for me. Yeah,
which,
so if you...
Which page in settings? I'm looking right now.
Settings, leads, I think.
I don't see any info like that.
At settings, yeah, I have a tab for leads.
Yeah, I'm on the tab for leads, but I don't see any info like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely... I remember talking to Rob, and he said that it was kind of like a going forward kind of thing. So.
Interesting.
But still, that's really what I want, because most of the people on my list have already been pitched recently for Watch Me Code. So I think I might go with... I'm probably going to go with 30. Because
Where do they start? Do they start at 0 or do they start at 60?
They start at 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering too. I mean, another thing to look at is how many people are subscribers. So like, okay, I look at everyone on my list.
This can't be right.
Lead score 100 or above, and it comes to like 1,000. $9.95, and when I say, did they buy How to Market Yourself, then it drops down to 115. So I guess that's about 10%.
10%
of your really
engaged. Right here.
Yeah. Of course, they get lead score boost when they buy the product, so that's...
Oh, I see what's going on. So there's... I was looking at some of the people in my segment for people over 30, and a guy that joined my mailing list 3 days ago is already at 39. So I clicked on his account in Drip, and under Activity, there's 2 sub-buttons, All Activity and Lead Score Activity.
Yep.
And the very first thing in his lead score activity is became a prospect, which gave him 30 points instantly.
How did he become a prospect?
I have no idea.
I think there might be a rule that might I remember seeing that somewhere, but I don't remember where.
We're going to get an email from Rob for sure.
Yeah. All right, Rob. I need an email explaining all of this to me, please.
This is the worst pitch for the for this feature ever.
He's like sitting there right now. He's like, those idiots!
No, no! Ah!
Stupid
well, I'm just
users.
looking at it and going, oh, vanity numbers.
I got to figure out where that became a prospect came from.
Yeah, I remember seeing that somewhere. It could potentially be an automation role.
There was a setting on there that said something like, at this score they become a lead or a prospect.
They become a lead.
Under lead scoring. Oh, yeah. They become a lead, but
when they visit your webpage, they get points too. Like that's
yeah. But this isn't just this isn't an accumulation of points to lead up to 30. This is he joined my mailing list and he got assigned 30 points.
You know what I would do, Derek? Because here's the thing. Some email clients don't even register opens, so they're not going to get any lead scores, and people have ad blockers.
But if they're clicking the links, they're going to get points.
Can they? I guess they can't.
Yes. I don't think there's a way around that because the
links all redirect through Drip.
Yeah, I worked with Rob on this, and so that the links all redirect. I think this was one thing we worked together because Infusion does it this way.
Yeah.
And Mailchimp does, and
yeah.
Okay,
I was happy to see that change in Drip because anytime I put a link in there, Drip automatically converts it so that Drip tracks the link. It's a Drip link.
I would either set the bar really low then, or just make it timed. Just after you've signed up for my list, after 2 or 3 weeks, I just automatically drop you into the sales sequence. Then you make sure you don't miss anyone. And what you could use the lead scoring for is after so many weeks, if you have a lead score above like 80 and you haven't bought, then I send you another more aggressive discounted email subscription. I don't know, because I mean the worst thing I don't know. I would always err on the side of pitching too many people than not pitching enough, because if you pitch too many people, the worst outcome is you lose some people. If you don't pitch enough, you could lose a significant portion. You know, if for example your pitching logic precludes 10%, so 10% of people that sign up never get pitched or don't get pitched in time. That's a lot more detrimental than if you're pitching too aggressively, knocks a couple percent off that would have bought.
Yeah, I mean your unsubscribe rate's going to be what from that? Like you're sending 8 emails or something, so
9 emails, yeah. So
9 emails. It's going to be 5%.
Unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the TLDR on this is that none of us understand lead scoring.
Yeah.
And, oh man.
I just would always err on the side of like pitching than not. I mean, everything that we've learned about email marketing has said err on the side of sending too many emails, of pitching too hard than the other way, because the other way is bad. So.
Okay.
You know, I do think you can overdo it, but I haven't found the point where you overdo it yet.
Neither have I.
When I tell you my story from this week, you'll agree.
I mean, I am now sending 4 emails a week to everybody on my list, and I have not lost any more than the average 0.5% on any email.
Yeah.
And when I throw this pitch on top of it, people are going to be getting 8 emails, 10 emails in 1 week during this pitch sequence, which is a little ridiculous, but I don't expect it to lose any more than the average 0.5% per email.
That's one feature I would love to have, though, in Drip. I've been asking for this one. Is I want to have like if a sale is going on or something else. Like I want to have like a sequence or something that I can say, this is so high priority, I don't want you to send any more email. Like pause all their other campaigns or wherever they're at. Like this is the priority campaign, so we don't cross, I don't want to send 4 emails in one day. I just want, or either that feature or just the ability to say, hey, Drip, make sure that you max number of emails that you can send to one person in the period of time.
Yeah.
And then it just adjusts. Like it's like, okay, well, it just queues up the ones that should go out.
Well, so then you have to set priorities. This campaign is more important than that campaign, and things like that.
Yeah, that's why I think the first one I described probably would be better. Because most of the time, like when you have a critical campaign, like if you're doing a sale or something, like you don't want the other stuff to go out. Like you just want to just focus on that. So if you could just pause everything else or delay it until that's done, that would be cool. Because then you just drop people in your sales sequence, bam, you know that all the other stuff that wherever they're at is paused, and then, So.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I'm going to do based on this conversation. Unless Rob gets back to us and says, no, Derek, the way you wanted to do it is right and it works well and here's why. So hopefully he will. But unless I get that kind of email from him explaining what's going on, what I'm going to do is take John's idea of once they subscribe to my primary mailing list, the secrets of a developer, which comes after any other email course that they're on. They'll get that email course first, and then they'll get the primary mailing list. Once they're on the primary mailing list, I'll wait 4 weeks and then put them on the pitch campaign automatically. Does that seem like a reasonable amount of time, 4 weeks? Because that'll be enough time for them to have read quite a bit of my blog posts and my best of stuff.
Can you maybe reduce it to 3 weeks?
Yeah,
4 might be long. Maybe even 2 weeks. Like depending on how many emails will you send out in the first 2 weeks?
8 emails in the first 2 weeks.
I think that's enough. I would just do 2 weeks.
Is it?
Yeah. And just blast them with your best of best stuff, like the top-rated best stuff for those 2 weeks before you jump into the sales sequence.
Well, the 2 weeks is going to include best of stuff, but it's also going to include. Monday and Wednesday new blog posts. Tuesday is the best of, and Thursday is a Watch Me Code episode.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I think that's.
So I'll go with 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that would be 3 weeks after.
After they get onto the primary mailing list. Yeah.
Right.
So if they start on a mailing list on an email course, they'll get that email course for 2 weeks, and then they'll go onto the primary mailing list for 3 weeks, and then they'll get this pitch. That seems reasonable.
I think so. And some of your email courses have pitches at the end with mini sales, right?
That's true.
So that's good, yeah. Right. If you didn't have that, then I'd say just drop them right into the sales sequence. But since you already are going to be selling them, give them some time, 3 weeks on the regular list, and then you're pitching them hard for Watch Me Code. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Done. I've got that done. I'm going to go ahead and just activate this pitch campaign.
Derek, you should also run a query and do a bulk import and put a bunch of people on this so you get an idea.
That's a good idea.
Once you have it put together.
Yeah. And
otherwise you have to wait a month.
Right. Oh wait, okay. Now I'll have to drop this bomb. When you use the bulk tools,
yeah,
move people onto a campaign. Make sure that you also put ands in there to check if they're
ors.
No, to check that they're actually on some other campaign.
Oh, okay.
That they're active. I thought I was smart this week doing my sale. I created a campaign for my How to Market Yourself generic. I'm doing a sale. I figured, okay, every 3 months I can just drop people on here. I don't have to come up with new emails or anything, and bam, we've got a sale going on, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, there's like 15,600 people on my list. Use the bulk import tool. I'm just going to grab everyone who isn't a customer already of How to Market Yourself and who isn't on the blogging course campaign, and I'm going to take them all and I'm going to drop them on the How to Market Yourself sale campaign, and that'll last for 3 days, and then I can drop them all off. Perfect, right? So I do this in bulk import, and I do that exact query that I told you, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It came up with like 15,700 people. That's more that's on my list. And for a second, I was like, that seems weird. But then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. It's not going to hurt anything, right? So so I did it, and then I send the first email out, and it gets like a 1% open rate. And I don't know if it was an error with caching with Drip or whatnot, but anyway, I started looking at it, and no one was buying, right? First day of the sale, 3 hours go by, not one sale to 15,000 people, right? I was like, either the party's over.
It's done, John.
Or something is screwed up. Like, did this go to spam on everyone's inbox? Like, I am screwed. Like, if you don't get the first email in the sequence, the rest of them aren't gonna.
Yeah.
So I look. I'm trying to figure out what happened. I look and I was like, okay, reports, hard bounces. There was like 400 hard bounces. That email. So I'm guessing what happened was that the bulk import doesn't just grab active people; it grabs whoever was on your, and it had to put a bunch of unsubscribers, or maybe not the unsubscribers, but at least it put the hard bounce removed from list people onto there and sent them emails. And I think what that ended up happening was, I'm guessing that the major email providers got smart with all the bounces and started spamming and blocking my email, so hardly anyone got it.
That sucks.
And then I don't know if the Drip, like, it was still showing 1% open rate. I sent a ticket to Drip. They whatchamacallit, said, oh, we reinitialized the cache, invalidated the cache, and then it went up higher. But before that happened, I was like, crap, I got to get this email out to people, right? So I was like, okay, how can I fix this problem? So what I did, it wasn't the best fix, but it seemed to work, was I went in and I now did another bulk import, bulk tool, and I said, everyone on the sales one who isn't on any other campaign, those are the bad people, right?
Right.
Remove them off. And so I did that, and then I did another bulk tool, and this time now I should only have valid people on, and I sent a one-off email to anyone who hadn't opened the first email.
Right.
And I put a little line in there that said, sorry if you got this twice, I had email problems.
Is this a campaign that you put people into that you just reuse the same campaign over and over again for each sale?
That's the plan. This is my. I've been reusing the emails, but now I have it in the campaign.
Subscribe to a campaign or restart the campaign?
I'm doing restart the campaign now.
Because that's an important point there. Because if you did subscribe to a campaign and they had already completed the campaign, they wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
So you have to do restart to make sure they start over at the beginning. But yeah, your point about always make sure you're filtering based on an active list, I always do that because I have Watch Me Code and my secret stuff and my email courses in there. So I always put something like, is subscribed to Secrets of a Developer, and not subscribe to Watch Me Code and subscribe to Watch Me Code or whatever combination, but there's always the inclusion of at least one active campaign in my bulk operations to make sure that I'm only getting the right people. That's a really good point to make.
Yeah, that's interesting because I actually have, since I'm doing daily broadcast emails, I have stopped adding. I don't no longer keep people on campaigns. I move them off when they're done with them.
So they're tagged? Is that how you do it then?
Yeah, I'm tagging them when they. I guess I could. Yeah, so I don't know how I would. I don't know. I probably would have that same problem. That sounds like a bug though that they're gonna fix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, there should be some way, like an active flag or something, where it means they haven't been. They haven't. If you've removed them, that's fine. If they've been unsubscribed from all campaigns, like click that button. Yeah. That would make them inactive. You should never email those people.
Right.
If they have hard bounds removed, then you should have like a double switch to move them. Are you sure you want to try? Because sometimes when people hard bounce remove, they want to get back on the list. Something bad happened. I don't know. So you got to have some way to put them back on. But
yeah. So that's about it for me. I'm gonna finish up this campaign. Hopefully. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to do it today, but hopefully today, Monday for sure. If I can't get it done today, and then I'll get this activated and bulk import a whole bunch of people onto it and see what happens. But yeah, I've got that rule set up so that after 3 weeks after you get onto my main mailing list, you'll get pushed into this campaign, which that will be anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks, depending on how you got onto my mailing list. So that should be good, I think.
Yeah.
We'll run this for a while to see how well it does, make some improvements.
Makes sense to me.
Yep. So Chuck, what's up with you?
So this last week I did a Periscope pretty much every day.
Nice.
I saw some of those go across Twitter.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I saw a picture that looked like the back of your desk, had like a power cord and.
Okay, gripe about Periscope.
Yeah, it needs to give you a 5-second buffer.
Yeah.
Well, and it starts with the camera pointed the other way.
Oh,
and
seriously? That's lame.
And you can't turn it around until you start the broadcast.
Wow.
It's like, what I think I need to do is just point the camera at me and then just basically say, when I start it, so just have my finger poised over start broadcast and then turn it around so it's pointed at me and then tap it and then just say, I'm doing this for the initial video. Now hang on for a second and then flip it over and do all this stuff.
If you're sitting at your desk, just use the rear camera because it's a much better camera anyway.
Yeah, the issue is that I don't have a good way of knowing whether or not it's capturing my face or capturing me.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Log into your own webcam version of it. You log into it, like just click it on the web, in your browser on your computer, and then you can see what is captured.
This is supposed to be a mobile app, and now you need a desktop.
You can also tape it off or have it measure and whatever.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Hang a tennis ball so I know how far to shoot it up. Like you do in the garage, right?
Exactly.
How far to pull your car in.
Then the ball will be bouncing off the back of your head the whole time. That won't be distracting at all.
Yeah, I guess I need it on a pulley so I can shoot it up real fast. But, anyway, I've probably had 4 or 5 of the same people on pretty much every call, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
And yeah, I've made no promises about what I will or won't talk about on it. But I've really been getting some good feedback, and people are starting to really get in and interact and get excited about it. And so I think I'm going to keep doing it. It's kind of a mix between like a video journal or a vlog and like a way for me to actually talk to people. So Overall, it went over really well. And then my manual that I was putting together for new podcasters on devchat.tv has sort of blown up into a book.
Nice.
Cool.
And yeah, I mean, initially it was just, hey, look, this is kind of the feel that we go for on devchat.tv, which is kind of an explorer, guide paradigm, where we get in and we kind of dig into a particular topic and explore the edges and figure out what the best ways through are and stuff.
Hey, I know where you got that archetype idea from.
Yeah, you listen to that Freelancers Show episode?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I've completely bought into the explorer archetype. And then just some of the other things, like here's how you do the recording, here's how you get better audio quality out of the recording, here's how you should be evaluating who you bring on to your panels, here's how you find guests, here's our process for scheduling, here's our process for, these things. I mean, obviously they can adapt it however they want.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some guidelines if you want to get different artwork done. Here's some guidelines if you want to get some of these other things done. If somebody approaches you about sponsorship, here's what to do. And then I keep having people ask me questions about podcasting, and I keep basically producing content for that, either in email or people talking to me at Toastmasters or people emailing me, and then I hop on a Skype call with them. And anyway, so a lot of this stuff has just kind of become, oh, well, I'm just going to put this in as a chapter in the book. So
Nice.
It's gone from the DevChat TV podcasting manual to actually a book that I have to. I think I know what the title's going to be, but I'm not 100%. So
Recording some of those Skype calls would be a really good idea, because you could use those as like interview bonuses.
Yeah, I have Ecamm Call Recorder, and it automatically records every call.
Yeah.
And so
You just
what
have to
I may
ask for permission.
Yeah, I may just ask for permission. And
I mean,
go
if
from
you're
there.
giving away essentially free consulting,
Yeah.
like they shouldn't complain. So.
Yeah, I may ask them, and I may say, if you need to review it, here's the audio file or the video file I have, because I know someone might be self-conscious that they weren't dressed up or whatever. So, I don't know. I think I helped a few people who were in their pajamas over the webcam. So, just because they're my friends and they're comfortable sitting there and talking to me, but I don't know if they want them published. But that's kind of the direction I'm going. It was funny because I started out fiddling with Softcover.io, which is a book publishing platform. It's what Michael Hartle used to build his Rails tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote the book and built the toolchain, and then he published the toolchain. And so I was fiddling with that, and then somebody else pointed out that Avdi Grimm used he built his own toolchain, and so I played with that, and then I had somebody else tell me about something else, so I was fiddling with that, and after about the third or fourth one, I finally just quit fiddling with them.
Yep.
And I tweeted out, and I was like, every time I talk to somebody about the book I'm now writing, they tell me about a new tool chain that I have to go check out.
Mm-hmm.
And Avdi jumped on Twitter, and he basically said, just write the book.
Yes. I was just about to say that. In fact, don't even use some tool chain, because you're not going to.
That's what he said. He said, just write the book, write it in Markdown, and then you can figure out the tool chain later. Because incidentally, every tool chain that I looked at that people sent me to, you can either it either requires you to write in Markdown. Avdi's tool chain will take Markdown or org mode, and then the rest of them are fully blown applications that will import Markdown.
Right.
You know what, Chuck? You should really be using Scrivener.
That was the one I got.
You need to spend a year of your life learning this tool so you can write the book that you wanted to write a year ago.
But here's the thing. Write the book, and then I'm going to give you a different answer than everyone else as well. When you're done writing the book, you're not a poor kid who doesn't have any money who needs to use the tool chain. You're someone who can go to Upwork and hire a professional book designer and layout, someone who knows Adobe InDesign, which you're not going to get anything better than Adobe InDesign. I'm sorry, I've been through this with multiple, and you just pay them like $400 or $500, and they lay out all the thing perfectly. They come up with all these ideas you didn't even think of on how it, and they make it look beautiful, and you don't have to worry about it. So I would say just write the book and then go and hell, you could get multiple people to do it. You could, I mean, if you're writing a book that you're going to sell, and then get someone to do the cover, and that's how I would go. Because
the one caveat to this is sometimes the book gets too big. That was what happened to me, and that's why I actually did switch to Scrivener, because it was too big for me to manage it as text files.
Mm-hmm.
So if that happens, sometimes, like if you start to stall out because you feel like you don't know where you are anymore, it might be a good idea to look at some kind of tool to help you organize it. So
I've put hours into fiddling with Scrivener too.
Yeah, it's very complex. It is,
so.
But
But if I get to the point where I need some organization tool, then I might look at it, and then I can just. But at that point, then I can import it, because it'll import Markdown.
When I wrote my plugins book, I actually just used. I had an outline that I used, and that was my macro view, because I realized that the most beneficial thing for me about Scrivener was the outline view that you would get, because you got everything broken up into little files that are named. So I just did that kind of, in a text file, and then if I needed to reorganize it, I would just shuffle the outline around, then I'd go, do it once and move all the pieces around in my huge text file.
Yeah, I did that with LeanPub. I would, one file per chapter basically in LeanPub, but everything's written in Markdown, which I really like. So I would just go generate a preview and then look at the table of contents that it generated out of my Markdown.
Yeah.
And I want to reorganize this, and
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, but I just have a whole bunch of Markdown files that I don't have them in any particular order, and a lot of these topics are important and they do affect other topics, but not to the point where I have to make them highly cross-referenced or anything funny like that. So for the most part, it's just a collection of essays that kind of have a common thread pulling them all together.
And there's nothing wrong with writing a book that says, hey, I'm reading chapter 2, and it tells me to go to chapter 6 for more information about this. Now I'm reading chapter 8, and it tells me to go back to chapter 2 for more information about this.
Well, the other thing is that I know some people that will pick up a book and they'll read it front to back. And I know a lot of other people, especially in a book like this where it's kind of a reference book, where they're going to go, okay, I already know how to record, or I already know how microphones work, but I really need some good ideas on how to pull together my album art.
Yeah.
So they're just going to pick and choose which chapters they want.
And they're going to want those references to go back and forth to lead them to the answers they need.
Yep. So, ultimately it's just going to be, I'm just going to have each topic in its own Markdown file. And then when it comes down to, okay, now I need to pull this all together, then I'll rearrange it, and then I'll read through it and make sure that it flows well from chapter to chapter. But for the most part, I just need to get the information in there and make sure that it makes sense if you read it on its own. And then I think most of the flow will just work.
And definitely don't make the mistake that all of us who have published just books have made, which is to just publish a book. You publish it to Kindle, publish it to whatever as just a book, but record videos.
Yep.
Think about bonus material right now so that you can sell a package for $100, $200, $300, and that's what you sell to your list or from your site, even though you're selling the book itself on Kindle and selling it by itself, or even offer it by itself. But you can even offer use CreateSpace to create a hard copy version too that you could sell as a bonus. But I think definitely do that, because you're putting all this work into creating the book. You got to add the extra stuff so that you can sell it for a much higher price point.
I agree, and there's a lot of extras you can do with this. You could even reach out to some hardware providers, companies that sell mics and mixers and stuff, and put together the ultimate bundles for like $1,000, where it includes the mic and the mixer and everything that they need to get up and running.
Buy my $9 book, or buy my $1,000.
Exactly. $9, $1,000.
We've got two price tiers here.
That's right. Two.
You also better have this on Audible, considering the subject matter.
Yeah, seriously. There better be an audio version of this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say write the book first.
Yeah, totally agree. Just keep while you're writing the book, think of things that could be bonuses.
But that's part of the thing, right? Is as I'm writing like the chapter on album art, for example, I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking about videos where I go in and I pull album art off of iTunes and dissect it, right?
Yeah.
This text is good. This text is bad. This picture, this is too busy. This is,
Yeah, that's
what do you think when you look at this grid list of the album art? Which ones catch your eye?
Right.
Which ones do you kind of gloss past? And really think about, how does this affect your branding, and what are you telling people with your album art?
Right.
Or, just a quick little video. Here's how you set up. Here's how you do basic setup for WordPress for podcasting. Or just stuff like that, where it's, it may be a 10-minute video or it may be a half-hour video, but it really gives them the material that's in the book, but in a different format, maybe with a little more expression, because I can actually talk to them and point to things and interact with them a little bit more.
And you'll be able to get some nice interviews, because I think you'll probably be able to get Cliff Ravenscraft and a bunch of big names, since you've got the connections there. I bet they'll do interviews for you. So
yeah, probably, and I could probably get John Lee Dumas to
get Pat Flynn and some of the other big name people that you got to schmooze with at the conference in Fort Worth.
Yeah, but the other thing is that I feel like I can really capture this space in a way that nobody else has.
Yeah.
By providing this level of a resource. But yeah, I've really been kind of enjoying just sitting down and writing. It's kind of a different pace for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's why I'm enjoying it, or if I actually enjoy the process. I don't know. But either way, I'm really...
Having written one fairly large book and four smaller books, I enjoy the process of writing a lot and putting it together. But like anything else, eventually it turns into, I got to do this. Yeah. And so you got to have that, and I know you do, but you got to have that level of discipline to push through once you get to that point, because it will get to that point. And then 6 months later, you'll be like, oh, this is so exciting. I love doing this.
Yep. Yeah, I just finished a book called The Alchemist.
Oh, that's a good book. Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah, he talks about basically, in the beginning you have all kinds of things conspiring and working for you, but eventually, in order to kind of achieve the end goal, you kind of have to slog through some crap. Mm-hmm. You have to prove that you really want it, is kind of the way that it kind of comes across, and yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent book, guys. If you haven't read that, it's so short
good.
And it's a story, and it's good. It reminds me a lot of the Richest Man in Babylon, like the kind of story approach.
Nice.
Adding to my ever-growing Amazon list.
I have to admit that I kind of stopped buying books that you guys recommend, because I have like 6 of them that I've never read.
I am so addicted to books.
I am too, but it's all Star Wars books for me right now. Like I finished reading Aftermath a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like 2/3 of the way done with Dark Disciple, and I'm just, it's what I want to do in my downtime.
Yep. But yeah, so then I started posting the Periscopes on a personal blog. I've decided to kind of do a personal blog instead of a devchat.tv blog.
I think that makes sense, honestly, because you honestly don't know where you're going to be in 2 years, right? I mean, you've got like 4 or 5 different channels that could end up being really big.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense to chain yourself to devchat.gv. I mean, that could be something you want to sell someday.
Yeah, think about my situation, right? I've been like multiple times. I'm like, oh, I just want to quit this, and then I'm like, oh, Simple Program's all about John Sonmez. I mean, now I'm working my way out of it so that it doesn't have to be. But you don't want to get yourself into the situation where you're like, oh, I can't sell this thing because who would buy it?
Yeah, I have been going back and forth though on whether or not I want to put. So as I'm writing this book, I'm wanting to write blog posts about podcasting and things like that, and I'm trying to decide if I want to put those on a personal blog or if I want to kind of create a specialized marketing page with those blog posts on it.
If I were you, I would just put it all on your personal blog.
Okay.
I mean, I've got programming posts on my blog. And,
yeah.
You know,
I've got some marketing stuff on my blog, and I'm the JavaScript guy.
Yeah, it's by audience. I mean, your Dev.TV, the people that are going there are not people that necessarily want to start podcasts.
Right.
But your personal blog, everyone knows that you are the podcast kingpin, so they want to go there and. But I would.
Yeah, but I want to put programming stuff and career stuff and other stuff there too. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's kind of dicey if you go three mediums, right? I mean, not three mediums, 3 platforms. Like it's hard enough to hold down 2 platforms. I think 3 is going to be be too split focused unless you have a big team pumping out content for the other.
Well, and that's the thing for me is exactly that is then I feel like okay, now I have to have a post for this one and a post for the other one and a post for the other one, and then I have to manage all of this stuff and I feel like people coming know that they're gonna get podcasting stuff and programming stuff and career stuff and entrepreneurial stuff because that's what I'm about, and they may even get the occasional Christian stuff or anyway just other thoughts on things, but I mean
you've got 2 audiences the way I see it. You have programmers who listen to your podcasts, and that's your programming audience, and Rails, TV, all of that stuff. And then you have people who are interested in entrepreneurship or podcasting or both.
Right.
Well,
there's overlap.
There's some overlap, but the overlap you don't have to worry about because those people will find both things.
They'll find both.
I'd segment it a little differently. I mean, you've got the DevChat TV audience, which are the programmers that want to listen to all that stuff, and then you have the Charles Max Wood audience,
right?
Which is everything that you do. It's all it's your marketing, it's your entrepreneurial stuff, it's your programming, it's podcasting. It's you. It's all about the people that want to watch your career unfold and learn lessons from the way you're doing things.
But who are you going to sell stuff to? This is where I'm basing this off of, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And that's why I draw the line a little differently, is because the people who are interested in Chuck, in the entrepreneur, they're not necessarily going to buy podcasting stuff. It's going to be the people who are interested in podcasting. Although there might be some, they might say, well, okay, look how this worked for Chuck. Let me do it myself. But I think you just have to be careful, like, thinking about, because what you don't want to do is sell the wrong thing to the wrong audience, because you just turn them off and right. So like if you sell, I mean, you can mention your podcasting book to your listeners of your podcast, and you should, but you don't want to pitch them really on it because they're gonna be like, this is not relevant to me. I mean, a few people will shake out of that tree, but you need to have a place that is relevant where people are going, where they're like, oh, this is awesome because Chuck is sharing with me how he's building a media empire. Chuck is sharing with me how he's like running his business and how he's running all these podcasts, and this is stuff I'm interested in. Then when you pitch that book, that's the perfect,
I think but splitting it up that way that Derek was talking about does that. If you've got devchat.tv, those are the people that are they're only interested in programming, really. And then Chuck, what's your site? What's your personal site name?
CharlesMaxWood.com.
I mean, that's your home. That's where you hang out. That's where you talk about whatever the heck you want. And in my opinion, I like to have it so that I talk about what I want to talk about, and if you don't like it, well, okay.
Well, but the other thing is people are going to come and they're going to pick and choose what they want to read anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can see that if I'm covering programming and programming careers as well as entrepreneurship and podcasting, I don't see there are different, you kind of think of a Venn diagram where they all intersect at different places. And the people that don't care about some of those intersections just won't read those blog posts.
Well, and you could, it's to me it's a lot less important. You could just easily split this up on your blog just by having tag or categories or tags, and then just have tabs, and then on your mailing list just segment everybody. So like they sign up for, everybody comes into your list for some specific offer. It's not like, hey, get my newsletter. It's, hey, get my free 7-day podcasting course. No, now they're interested in podcasting. So
that's true. I can run that for a few months and then switch.
Yeah, to me, like the actual blog itself doesn't really matter all that much, because people will, like, how many people do you think actually sit there, come to your homepage every day and go like, oh, did Chuck post something? And then if he did, like, oh man, he's talking about podcasting again. Like, that's not what happens. What happens is you tweet something out and people see it and they're interested and they click on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of opting in there. Or you send it to your mailing list and they see it and they click on it. So
or they find you in Google, right? And then they see related stuff on your blog or not. Right. And that's the one thing that I would caution against is I would say, like, personal stuff, totally fine on your blog. Podcasting stuff, entrepreneurial stuff, totally fine. But if you write developer stuff, just put it on DevChat TV blog.
If it's really technical.
So should I create a DevChat TV blog?
Just as a tab in DevChat TV, just a little icon for blog, and then if you have anything to write about programming, I would write it there, because one, you're hitting the big audience that you already have, and two, when people do come to the podcasting and entrepreneurship stuff that you're at your personal blog, they're not going to be like, what is this program? You won't have a mixed type of thing, because it just feels like a waste if you put it on your personal blog. Like, you might as well be capitalizing on that huge audience on DevChat TV and getting more search traffic there.
This is actually pretty similar to my dilemma with Sublime Text versus my site, my personal site. Like, I do not post anything Sublime related on my personal blog.
So then I guess the other thing I could do is, because I want it to be a really cohesive thing, if I put a blog onto devchat.tv, I think what I'll probably do is actually just put it on WordPress and just pay somebody to make a theme that looks like WordPress, or makes it look like devchat.tv.
Yeah, and make it so that it's easy, so it's seamless, so people on DevChat TV click to it and they feel like they're still on. And then you can open it up to your panelists and let them
that's
write.
What I was planning.
And then you're going to get a ton of extra search traffic. Like, that would be totally worth doing that.
Yeah, I think if you're like, Chuck, how often do you think you personally would want to write a programming article? Probably not that often, right? I mean,
it depends. Probably once every week or 2 or 3.
Okay. Yeah, but if you the caution on creating another blog is that it's another thing that you're going to feel guilty.
Right.
Well, that's why I open it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the idea of opening it up and.
Yeah, and I would. The other thing is with like the remote conferences, I can have those speakers do guest posts and things.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't force them. I might lean on them just a little bit, but mostly it'd be, hey, I'd like to kind of give people a preview of your talk. Would you be interested in doing a guest post that kind of gets them interested in the topic?
Mm-hmm.
So I had kind of an interesting revelation. This is sort of tangential to. I mentioned a few minutes ago how I've been reading Star Wars books, and that me saying that reminded me of something that of an experience I had earlier this week, or a realization. So for the last several months, I've been having a pretty hard time with my son and dealing with all that and everything, as you all know, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't necessarily want to work any more than I have been working in the last couple of months. I don't really need to, for sure. I don't necessarily want to all the time. Yeah, sometimes I do want to. Sometimes I really want to buckle down and get things done because I'm enjoying it. But most of the time I want to just kind of take it easy, kind of go through my consulting stuff, do a good job there, and just slowly but very sure-footedly work on the marketing stuff for Watch Me Code, and spend more time relaxing, spend more time with my kids, spend more time playing video games, spend more time reading books, spend more time with my wife, things like that. And I've kind of realized that I've been able to do those things in the last couple of months. I've been kind of phrasing it in my own mind as, oh, I need to take a break because I'm so stressed about all these things. And in reality, I'm looking back on it and looking at the things that I've done this week, and I've realized, that's what I want to do. That's how I want to live my life right now. That's what I want to do. I don't want to continue working myself to the bone. I think, John, honestly, your post from Monday was kind of when I started realizing this, seeing how much work you did over the last few years and how you lost your passion and your interests. And I don't want to do that. That's not for me personally. If it's for you, great. That's awesome. But it's not for me personally. And so I've kind of sat back and reevaluated things in the back of my mind, and I've realized that I'm okay with only working, 30 hours a week and then spending a whole bunch of time playing video games and reading Star Wars books and not growing my empire so that I'm making millions of dollars a year, because my life is comfortable right now. I don't need that much money. I'm at the point where I'm close to having my complete freedom from consulting work, at least in terms of necessary payments for bills. And I'm enjoying this time playing video games and not getting super stressed about having to constantly be on all day long every day of the week to get things done. And it's been interesting to think about those things. And I also realized just yesterday that I was sitting. Let me tell a story, I guess. I was sitting at breakfast with my wife, and she had her laptop there. She was doing some work. I had my iPad there, and I was doing a couple of more drawings for my blog posts that are coming up next week. And it suddenly dawned on me that what I was doing right then and there was the realization of my career dream when I was in high school.
Huh.
My whole career that I had planned out for myself when I was in high school was to somehow, I didn't know how at the time, but to somehow combine my love of art, my love of software development, and my love of sound recording and technology in the recording space. And I've realized, I am quite literally living that dream from when I was a teenager in high school. I'm doing Watch Me Code. I'm doing this podcast. This is all about recording technologies and all about perfecting that art. And listening to Chuck talk about the books that he's writing, and I love that kind of stuff, and I want to keep doing it. But I'm also combining all of this with software development because I'm recording and editing screencasts and teaching other developers, and at the same time I am combining the art side of things with these drawings that I'm doing and the design work that I'm doing on the Watch Me Code website, and other little bits of design that I do here and there, and it's just in the last week this has all kind of hit home for me, and realized just how lucky I am in my career and in my life and where I am right now, and how I don't want to lose this place in my life right now. I'm sure at some point I'll have another aspiration that I want to move on to, but at this point in my life right now, this is everything that I want. I want to play video games. I want to read Star Wars books. I want to do Watch Me Code. I want to do my client work. I want to do all the things that I'm doing, and I'm really happy where I am right now.
I think one thing I would say too about that is good. I agree.
Yeah.
And then second, for people that are listening, just for the benefit of them, you have the luxury of doing that now.
Yes,
because
I do.
You work so hard.
Right.
I think the one piece of advice that I don't like is when people are like, you don't have to work as hard, and it's because they've gotten to where you or I are at, and then they've realized that working hard is actually better to work more leveraged, and to not kill yourself anymore, and it's better to you got to live your life at some point. And I think that's one of the keys is like you have Watch Me Code going now. You have money coming in. You had to bust. There is no way you would have ever gotten that without busting your butt. Like you couldn't have that attitude that you have now and get to where you were, where you are now. But now you can. And that's you got to find the point. I've talked about this a long time ago, but you got to find that point where you're like, okay, that's enough. Like now let's just live your life. And it's kind of funny because in the last week or so, this was like one of my most productive weeks ever on Simple. I was just busting out. I wrote an entire workbook this week. Did a sale, did email sequences. I'm doing advertising, just sign up for Perfect Audience. Like I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm having fun. And because you know what? Once I wrote that blog post, and I'm not committed to all this stuff and to filling out Pomodoros, the pressure is off.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey, I feel like doing this, and maybe next week I won't, and I'll do something else, and that's fine. But like, I think that's, I don't know. So there's definitely something to that. I like I said with that blog post, I lost myself because I didn't stop. I kept pushing and pushing past the point of already hitting success. Once you've hit success and you go past it, then you're overshooting and it's no good. Then you can actually go into defeat mode. And I'm glad that you've come to that realization because I think that is good. And there'll be bursts, like you said, at some point in the future you might have some new ambition and that's fine.
And at some point in the future, I'm sure I'll realize, oh crap, I really need to buckle down and get this done. I'm not saying that that's never going to happen again. There will be times where I push into work mode, and there will be times where I lapse into I'm going to relax for a while again. And I still have responsibilities. I'm still producing 1 episode a week with Watch Me Code. I'm still writing 2 blog posts a week on my blog. And I'm still doing all these things, but it's not 60, 80 hours a week anymore. It's like 20 or 30 hours a week now, and I'm really enjoying the pace of life that I have right now. And I'm relaxed, and I'm enjoying things more. Exactly like you just said, I feel like the pressure is off. I still have a schedule of things to do, but I'm several weeks ahead in my schedule, so I don't feel that imminent pressure of things crashing down around me anymore.
That's one thing too. Like I'm glad that you said like that you've got the attitude of gratitude and like when you look at all of us, like people that have been following this podcast from the beginning. I mean, look at how far we've all come from episode 1, or even before that, before we started recording. I mean, you were at Telerik, Josh was at Trackabout.
Jeff Atwood is going to be so impressed when he catches up. Man,
seriously,
like, a year and a half. He's gonna be like, it's almost 2 years. He'll be like,
wow, these guys are awesome.
These losers really made it.
Yeah.
We've all grown so much. What I mean? Sometimes you can get discontent, but we've all like had huge growth and have improved our careers and improved our businesses by a huge amount in a really relatively short amount of time. I mean, we're on episode 86 here. It's not even 2 years of episodes, we're coming up on it, but. Yeah, amazing. I mean, when I just think about and Chuck had watched when he first joined us, he had watched our old episodes, and that's funny. Like I watched was watching some of them a while back, and I was like, man, I didn't even none of us knew anything about marketing and selling a digital product and all this stuff, and now So I think that's important too. It's I lost track of that as well. So just having that attitude of gratitude. It's you got to remember, man, you're living the dream. All of us, all 4 of us, are basically living the dream. Yeah,
no, and I quite literally am. I mean, I am living the dream that I had in high school. My career took a long, circuitous path to get here, but it just hit me this week that the only piece that's missing from my high school dream is I'm not living in Denver, Colorado, but I lived there for a year. I did live in Denver right after high school, and I loved it. And I chose to leave because I fell in love and I wanted to get married, and that was my decision, and I'm sticking with it. So, but yeah, it's you're right, John. I mean, I'm living the dream that I had, and I'm pretty damn successful at this point in my life.
So I guess I'll segue into my my crazy week a little bit. So part of it too, I think, is because I've been doing the 80% fat diet, and I was going into ketosis, and then like Monday, I think my brain switched over to the burning fat mode, because your brain doesn't switch over immediately. It's still it's not efficiently processing fat to make glucose, because your brain has to run on glucose, but. Anyway, so I think that happened this week, because I was just like, whoom, like plugged in, like crazy, super energized.
Yeah, John, I thought that had happened, because I noticed, I was like, oh, look, John's sending us emails again. Holy cow, there's another email from John. There's another, and like you're doing all this stuff, and I was like, okay, yeah, I figured that was what had happened actually.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, mentally yes, but physically no. I cannot run 10K now.
Yeah.
I can run a 5K and it wipes me out. I was running 10K for like 6 months, no problem, 3 times a week. But without the glycogen reserves, your body just cannot catch up. About 5K is where I've got zero glycogen, reserves.
From what I was seeing, I've been reading a little bit about this too recently, and I was seeing people saying that it can take your body 3 to 4 months to really go into keto adapted mode, where you're able to, you're actually really, really running efficiently on ketones. So it could be, there's like the initial carb flu thing, which is what I was dealing with this week.
I hate that.
Yeah. And that can last anywhere from a few days up to like several weeks or 5 or 6 weeks. And then there's like another adaptation that happens several months out as well. So it might, your endurance might get better. I don't know.
I don't think endurance will. Like, I think the adaptation has already happened. I mean, remember, I've been eating 1 meal a day for like over a year now.
Right.
So like, I'm jumping in and out of ketosis.
Well, but no, ketosis only if you eat 1 meal a day, I don't think you'll ever. If you eat 1 meal a day with carbs, I don't think you'll ever go into ketosis. It takes like 36 to 72 hours.
Not if you complete fast. For like 24 hour. Anyway, the week before I was doing 48-hour fast, which was definitely enough time to kick in. And I also reduced carbs almost down to nothing. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? All I know is now I'm pretty much in it. But I think though that it's the whole like energy cycle for when you're doing lipolysis, you only get 2 ATP instead of 16 ATP when you're doing the whole. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into details, but I think you have to you can't do long endurance without, otherwise your body has to jump down into, and you can't do high intensity, because if you do like HIIT workouts, it has to come from the fast glucose ATP production. But before Derek drops off, I do have to say, I did do a meal. McDonald's is serving all day breakfast now. Just, like, I don't know why it took them so long to do this, but I was like,
it doesn't take me that long to eat breakfast.
Yeah. They have this meal planner, so I was like, I wonder if I could hit my macros, go to McDonald's. So, 80% fat, 17% protein, 3% carbs, right?
Supersize me.
Turns out I can. So what I did is I went to the drive-thru.
That's like a quarter of an inch of food from McDonald's.
No. This is 2,200 calories, 2,300 calories, 80% fat from McDonald's. I got 4 sausage egg McMuffin sandwiches.
Yep.
Okay. No buns.
No muffin.
Just the sausage, cheese, and egg, right?
Just the Mick, not the muffin.
So 4 of them, 4 mix. And then 1 double quarter pounder with cheese, no bun. And that works out to, that's a lot of food, actually, 2,300 calories. So, and it hit the macros, and it was tasty.
Wow.
Because I think you were saying last week about, but it's not like you're going to McDonald's.
Not like you're going to McDonald's. Challenge accepted.
So that's John's purpose in life now.
Yes.
What did Derek say? Oh, I can prove him wrong on that.
I totally got that.
So, so the big news for this week for me was I did a sale. I was like, oh, I have to finish up my sale, for this week because it's been 3 months. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out or, and I had that drip screw up, right? So that was off to a bad start. The first day, I think I made one sale. So I was like, oh, crap. Then the second day rolls around and only 800 emails got sent out. And I'm like, what the hell? What happened? And then I look at my drip sequence, and I had it set to 1 day later instead of 0 days. So like the first email was immediately, but I had sent it out at like 3 or 4 p.m. and I had the next one scheduled for 1 day later.
On a Wednesday, right?
Huh?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
So 800 people in China got the second email, and no one else did, right?
Because it was going to go out the next week, right?
It's the next day. So like it should have said immediate and then 0 days at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or like it could be 1 day if the immediate was happened before 11 a.m.
Yep.
Then it would have had, because you have to have at least 24 hours pass for 1 day to trigger, right? So I'm again doing a manual thing, right, in Drip to bulk email to those people, and some people got the first email twice and the second email twice, right? Big unsubscribes there.
Uh-huh.
Still almost no sales. If I look at my thing, I was like, oh, okay, the party is definitely over now because I was getting no sales, basically, nothing. Like a couple of sales came in. I was like, oh, I'm just screwed. Like open rates still look like nothing. So I'm like, oh crap, this is just crap. And so I have the third email in the sequence set up, and that one looks like that one's going to go right. I don't remember if I sent that one out manually or not. I think I might have had to because I had to restart people on the email, and so I think I ended up sending that one out the third day. And then some sales started coming in, so I was like, okay, it looks like I'm going to make $3K. That's not bad, for a sale. Okay, not bad. Not the $10,000 that I was making. And then I got the idea of sending out I was getting some questions from college students and testers. So that was, I was like, oh, okay. So there's probably a lot of people. If I got 3 or 4 emails, there's probably a lot of people that are newbies or college students that are wondering, should I start marketing myself now, and would this work for me? And so I addressed both of their concerns.
You need to set those testers straight that they are QA.
That's right.
No. I went to a conference. Oh wait, that's what you're saying. Yeah. I thought QA was the politically correct term. Apparently, they prefer testers now. So
they're quality testers.
I put both in the email because I was like, okay, because
they want to be called QT.
There you go.
So anyway, that I was already getting some sales, and then that email really sales just started flowing in, and that was also the last day, always the last day, right?
Yeah.
So on that day, I ended up doing $6,477 worth of sales.
Nice.
So I ended up, I'm sitting at after all of that crap, right?
Yep.
I'm sitting at right now at year or month to date sales on how to market yourself at $10,600.
Nice.
So the sale was basically $10,000.
Yeah.
So sales. Every time I think this can't possibly work, right? And then, but I think I figured out why it works every time. Why the sales do so well.
Fresh blood.
Because you send each email twice.
Well, that's it. So I've got 4 emails.
There will be more emails.
I'm not going to stop emailing you until you buy this. So you don't buy it.
So I do get some old people that eventually buy, right? You've got that. But if you think about it, I get about 1,000 subscribers to my list every month. Now, I don't net 1,000 because 500 unsubscribe or whatever, right? But it doesn't matter because there's, like Josh said, fresh blood. 1,000 people times 3,000 people. If you look at the numbers, right, what percentage of that will generate me $10,000 of revenue? I mean, they've already gone through one sale because they went through the blogging course and got a sale. But still, when you do a sale, you get a certain amount that shake out. And so it's amazing. Yeah. Every 3 months I'm doing a sale. The first time I did it, I was like, there's no way, people have already been exposed to this. Second time I did it, I was like, how could this be possible? But Even with my total screw ups this time, I still did it. So
nice.
And so it's pretty exciting because it brings the lifetime sales of How to Market Yourself to $157,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So that was my big thing for this week. I was very excited about that. And then I also created I'm trying to do this thing I created a workbook for the blogging course that it's like a 45-page workbook. It includes all the emails from the blogging course and a bunch of additional material, and I just kind of busted that out one night. And I've got my VA working on designing it, but but I've also got some backups in case. But yeah, I've been trying to do advertising and get that. I'm selling it for $5. Twitter ads so far is just not.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Traction.
No.
So I don't know. Once I get it designed and stuff, I've got a landing page set up for it. I'm going to set a separate email So in my email sequence for my blogging course, I'm going to have one email just dedicated to selling the workbook once I have some nice art for it, because I think that will be good just to reduce the overall lead cost.
Yeah.
And get people more engaged, and then it's a good tripwire.
Here's another thing I could throw out. What if you had Andrew go back through and go through all like a bunch of emails and pull together all the emails, the questions that you've been getting, into a big, massive Q&A file. I have a product from John Carlton where he did this. It was literally just like printouts of emails where he like scratched off the name.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Like they were copy critique emails, and it was oh man, that's one of my favorite things I've ever gotten from him.
So that's what my YouTube channel is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's Simple Programmer Podcast, essentially, right? Because every time I flag questions, I've got like a list of like 50 questions I've got flagged. Right. But that could also be a product, though, right? Just putting it into text form and answering them a little bit better, or a little more succinctly, I guess. YouTube is a rambling medium.
Well, you can edit down the YouTube videos to highlights and then.
Yep. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's gonna work out though. Like I'm glad I produced this thing, and even though Twitter, I might be able to get Twitter ads to work event. But I signed up for Perfect Audience yesterday, finally, which is the huge retargeting thing that works on the multiple platforms. It's the one that most everyone uses. I'm going to get that set up. I've got the tags on my site, and then I'm going to be remarketing with Facebook ads, and I think that's going to have a really good outcome. So and it's so cheap to do remarketing versus just buying ad space directly. So we'll see. That's I'm probably going to set that up next week sometime. And then the other huge thing for me was thanks, Josh. You kept on talking about the welcome mat, so I was like, I have two variables here. One of them is I changed my light box to, it's not a welcome mat. It's called like a full screen. It looks like a welcome mat. It's like instead of a light box popping up, it's when you go to the page. I guess it is a welcome mat because it's like a full screen. Yeah. Before you get to the content, you have to hit the X.
Well, that's more of a pop-up. The welcome mat, you can just scroll.
Yeah,
so it's more like the top of the. It's more like a huge banner across the top of it. Yeah.
So I A/B tested that against my existing Lightbox, and it was 110% better, like with something like 70 or 80 conversions. And then I started A/B testing a few other of my opt-ins with like the bottom of the text at the bottom of the blog post with "Do you have a blog? Yes, no," and then it leads to two different trees, and I basically have doubled my conversion rate on Simple Programmer now. So that's
bam.
Awesome. I also changed it so one variable with that A/B was the messaging as well, so I don't know if it was so much which had more or if it was both.
I think it was the format was the dominant change, because I've found with my stuff I'm getting anywhere from close to 2% to 4% on the welcome mats. with no testing. Like I just my headline right now is like, get the email marketing cheat sheet. I'm serious. That is it. And it was like the most straightforward thing I could think of, and that's converting at like 3.5%.
Nice.
I'm sure if I tested that, I could come up with something better.
Yeah.
Improve it, but.
I think my text now is like I kind of took the format that they had, and I was like, on one side it says make an investment in your career this month by starting a blog. You sign up for my free blogging course, and then on the right hand side, right before you sign up, it says name one top tier developer without a blog. So I felt like that was a good one when I came up with that. I was like, okay, because people are definitely going to say, because people say, oh, I don't need a blog. Like, name one top tier developer that doesn't have a blog.
You should try flip-flopping those too. That's kind of an interesting stopper question. You could put that as like the main headline.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then have the make an investment be like the part above the secondary headline above the opt-in box.
That'd be a good split test.
An interesting test to try. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy with conversion rates now. Like I'm picking up. I should be picking up like 50 to 100. I also tagged everything so I know where people are coming from. Found TweetAdder needed an update. It wasn't working. And I'm using it. Oh, I also created a Twitter card. I was like, I must have been like on speed this week, but I finally created a Twitter card, and so that's pinned and that's converting fairly well. Like, so yeah, I'm really up the conversions, and then I thought there was some other thing.
It'll be interesting to see what happens on your next sale.
On my next sale?
Yeah, because if you've got 3 months worth of higher conversion rate, you're going to have more people.
Oh, yes, exactly.
So.
Yeah, we'll see how the monthly goes too at this point. But yeah, it'll be really interesting. The other thing too was I did on the blog. Oh shoot, I forgot what it was then. There's some other thing that I was tweaking that I can't think of it now, but we'll see. Oh, the DPD side of it. So one thing, like just as if you guys do sell another product and you have like integrations in Drip or in DPD, I had to create a new store.
Interesting.
Because your integrations, like if you have like script that executes on the sales on the checkout page or on the like confirmation page, it executes for any product you sell.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want people to be targeted with a sale of how to market yourself because I have a Drip integration there. So I had to create a new store, which doesn't cost you anything, and then put the product into the new store for the $5 workbook. And so now when they buy the workbook, it has its own Drip integration that works.
Mm. That's lame.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so that's
a lot of people who use Gumroad. Do you know if there's a major?
There's no PayPal. Gumroad does not support PayPal.
No, they do now.
Oh, do they?
I think they added PayPal support. The bad thing about Gumroad today is that they hit everyone. They collect VAT tax for you. So that sucks.
Oh.
There's no reason why us in the United States need to pay VAT tax or hold VAT tax. Like, I don't think I'm going to get off a plane in the UK and they're going to arrest me like for VAT tax avoidance or whatever. So that kind of pisses off some customers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also updated. I created a resources page on Simple Programmer. Like I was just going nuts.
Yay! John's back.
It's got a ton of stuff on there. So I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, I'm going at the pace of I feel like doing this stuff. If I don't, I'm gonna go play poker tonight. So I don't, I got to keep the balance, like like Derek was saying. But that's me. Yeah. For my week that I'm supposed to be like bowing out, I went hyperactive mode. So
nice.
John's wife, just everything is reverse psychology with him. Like, I don't want you to ever take out the trash, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is then somebody's going to throw something in the fresh bag that went in there. He's going to take that out too.
Yeah, the key is like if you feel like you have to do something, instead you get to do things, and I think that's such a drastic shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I partly inspired by John. I've been wanting to try this diet, the steak and eggs diet that I've heard from several people, where it's literally like you eat steak and you eat eggs, and it's a ketogenic thing, so it's the same deal. You are allowed to eat butter.
You need butter. To
yeah,
keep
you
the
need
fat
butter.
up high enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been trying that this week, and
One
we'll
steak,
see.
2 eggs, 1 cube of butter. Got it.
Well, it's pretty much like, actually, it's like what I've been eating is like around 8 ounces of ground beef, which is like the higher fat ground beef, and then like 4 eggs, and then anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter, and then like I've also been doing shots of heavy cream, which is actually kind of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I could totally see him. He has them like lined up on the counter. He's like,
yeah.
bam.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. Like, I have definitely been super low energy all week. I've been pretty productive though. I've been able to still work, which is my biggest fear with this, was that I would be like, get the carb flu thing so bad that I couldn't function.
Yeah.
It's definitely been, I've been dragging though. So I've actually decided just for now to go back on coffee and have a little caffeine to keep me going. But yeah, so far, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it because I wanted to try it for at least for a month and just see what happens. And I'm having the biggest thing for me actually is with so much butter on the eggs, I'm actually getting nauseous from them. So that makes it really hard, and I have to eat enough calories or I'm really gonna crash. So I'm in this awkward. It's like hard to eat enough fat because I'm getting sick from the fat.
But buy some macadamia nuts.
Yeah, well, that's not steak or eggs, is it? So I might end up. I think I'm definitely gonna stick with at least with the ketogenic thing and try to stick with that for a month. We'll see. I'm gonna try to push through with the steak and eggs, and it's simple. I don't have to think about it, so that's nice. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm not going to be able to do it for a full month. Tonight I'm going to have some salmon. I had some bacon the other night, and tonight I'm going to have salmon. But I still probably need to have eggs, and the eggs are really the problem. I can vary the meat, but I can't. Like, the eggs are eggs. So I'm going to try. My wife hard-boiled some eggs for me today, so I'm going to try chopping those up and mixing it with mayo and see if that's a little more appetizing.
Egg salad.
Yeah, egg salad with no bread, basically.
I eat that a lot.
A little bit of mustard.
Yeah, last night I had steak sauce.
The sugar's out.
I put some little steak sauce on the eggs, and that helped. So they didn't taste like eggs anymore.
So, cheddar cheese.
Yeah, which again is not steak or eggs.
Well, but hey, you're just talking about eating salmon.
I know.
So
yeah, I know.
I know all. When it comes to ketogenic hacks.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, actually, I've done cheese on eggs a lot, and that also kind of makes me a little sick. So.
Other thing, you could just throw a little bit of diced peppers and onions in there. It's going to be like trace carbs. So. Yeah,
I'm kind of thinking that next week will probably just be. I think I'm probably going to cave next week and just go throw in some nuts and a little more variety, because I'm liking. I think once I push past this fatigue, I'll actually feel pretty good. This morning when I woke up, I felt decent. Actually, I wasn't like every other morning this week. I've woken up and wanted to go back to sleep, and like one morning I actually did just curl up on the couch and go back to sleep for a little bit. But yeah, so we'll see. I want to push past this and see how it goes. But that has been a fun experiment so far. I grilled 2.5 pounds of flank steak last night. That's good stuff. Yeah.
This week I ate a 1 pound of 80/20 chopped meat.
I've done that before in one sitting. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh man.
Everyone's wife is gonna hate me. The only person's wife who probably doesn't hate me is Chuck, because you haven't done. Because Derek's wife's probably like, did John put you up to this crazy shit? And then probably your wife now is like, where'd you get this idea? Is this because of John?
Yeah. So so the other thing is I I'm trying to really step up my writing. I realized like that I feel the best when I am most prolific. So I'm trying to get back to having a writing quota for myself. So I've been doing my daily emails, and that's been going really well. I actually just realized today I rolled over 4 weeks of doing those, and
Nice.
so I have no plans of stopping. It's been going well, and I get a lot of good replies, and I'm engaging people. So pretty soon I'm going to start. I've decided that my 2 things I'm going to pitch, like I need 2 entry-level copywriting offers, and they're going to be copy critique for probably $500, and my discovery process package, which is going to be $500, and I'll be pitching those every day, basically one of those every day, or maybe an affiliate product now and then. So I'm kind of my funnel's kind of congealing here. This week I set up my contact form. Like I get so many annoying little like requests where people are like, I need a web page. How much will it cost? And like that's it. That's like the entire thing. And I'm like, screw it. So I bought the Gravity Forms plugin, which is really, really good if you need to do it's like it seems to be like the best forms plugin out there.
Yeah.
And you can do custom you can completely customize the emails that you get, like with what information you want and everything. So I made a contact form that has a drop-down menu that's either copywriting inquiry or general inquiry. And so if they do a copywriting inquiry, they have like an additional 5 or 6 fields that they have to fill out, including a radio button for budget.
Nice.
So I'm going to force people, like if they're going to contact me about copywriting, they're going to check a box that says my budget is 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 5,000, or 10,000, like 5,000 to 10,000. So they know like they're seeing big numbers early in the process.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're having to think about where they fall in those big numbers. So and then like also getting just more detail about their project and when their project date is, so that they're not like thinking, because a lot of people are like, oh, I need to launch my product in 2 weeks. I should probably think about the copy, and that's just not going to work for me. So I got that out there, and I'm really happy with it. I think it'll actually save me a lot of work, because typically I usually have to go back and forth with people several times when they email me like, I need a web page. Like, what does that even mean? So I think that like it's going to turn people away for sure. I'm sure the conversion rate will be way lower, but at this point I freaking don't care. I'd rather not have to deal with people that aren't really serious. So I got that done. I was pretty happy with that. And I'm going back and forth on as far as a writing quota. I'd like to have something where I'm writing, like 3,000 words a day. That's a pretty. If I wrote for like 3 solid hours or 4 solid hours, I think I could easily get to where I was doing that much every single day. The problem is that, and I hit this with my books too, is like that doesn't leave like a lot of room for rewriting.
Yeah.
Because I still have all the administrative stuff that I've got to do for my business, and emailing clients and that kind of thing. So, and I think what I'm going to try to do is basically do 1,000 words a day for me. So that's going to be my daily email, and then some, whatever's left over for either like a guest blog post for somebody else's blog, or right now I'm working on the sales page for my discovery process. So I need to write up a sales page for that and for the copy critiques. And then I'll probably start guest blogging, I think, at that point, to try to drive more traffic for me. And then from there go right into whatever client work I have. So right now that's John's stuff. So, which I think, I'm not sure. My goal here is to get the initial draft of the sales page done by the end of the day. And I'm not sure if I'm going to quite make it, but I'm still optimistic. It's coming together well. So.
Awesome. I think we're going to kill it, considering that this sale did so well.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
And remember the kind of crappy sales page I have that's converting from this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. Just I've been getting a pretty decent number of inquiries. I feel like I just need I need more traffic. I'm getting my site my funnel is getting coming together nicely. I've got the cheat sheet, which converts pretty well, funnels people into my emails. I'm doing the daily emails, so that's my my conversion angle. I just need to get more of the people. I need to get more of the people that can actually hire me to my site.
Yep.
So I'm either going to do. I think it's either going to be Facebook ads or it's going to be guest posting.
One thing you could do too, Dan Martell was using this strategy. He was using ads, like Facebook ads, to drive people to his content instead of conversion pages, and that could possibly work well for you because you have a good converting like welcome mat right on your.
Yeah, but the welcome mat thing might be against Facebook's policies. They might they could potentially ban me for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
They have gotten they are really aggressive now about banning people. So, and if you make if you're not careful when you make income claims, like actually Perry got banned. His account got banned because of the 80/20 book, because of where they show what happens if you sell more to your top 1% of customers instead of the long tail. Facebook decided they were making unrealistic income claims and they banned them. So
it might be good to use a buffer. Like I'm going to be using Perfect Audience to do Facebook advertising, because then they could ban, like Perfect Audience could kick you out because but it's not going to affect you personally on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe, unless it happens. And there might be some kind of trickle. Like Facebook could do it and then I don't
ban
know.
your domain.
Yeah, it could still happen. Yeah, that's what happened to me on Google, is they banned my domain. So even if I open another account, I can't use it for my site. But yeah, the guest posting thing, I'm a little torn on it, because if I could do the James Clear approach where I'm syndicating content that I'm already publishing on my blog and I'm getting it published in a couple of different places, that would be great leverage. And if I could get 50 or 100 visits a week, or a month from a guest post, to me that's well worth it.
Yep.
As long as it's somewhat targeted, but I don't know. Like I was curious today. I was like, how many people I did that one blog post on SitePoint, and I was like, how many people did I get to my site from that? I looked. You want to take a guess? It's probably been a year now.
Well,
yeah, it's been 1 year.
What was the subject of the blog post? The title?
It was about how to use Twitter lead gen cards, actually, and it was like a thorough walkthrough of a very, very thorough walkthrough that probably took me 6 to 8 hours to put together. You want to guess how many people came to my website?
3,000?
6.
What? 6 people?
Yeah, 6 people. So I've got to do better than that if I'm gonna,
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you sure that you've got that tracked right?
Yep.
That's crazy. My SitePoint article is still generating like 10 to 15 people a day.
Yeah. Nope, nothing from that. So
is it just because that's not a well-populated area of the SitePoint network?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So I've got to be very targeted about the blogs I go after, and be careful. If I'm going to do it, it needs to be guest posting on Firepole Market, either some site that's so huge, like Entrepreneur.com, or where there's going to inevitably be a few people that are good candidates for me, or it's got to be a very, very targeted site.
You need to start getting on some podcasts too. You can definitely get on John McIntyre's McMethod for sure. I mean, at this point, I think there's a few of them. I bet you could do Entrepreneur on Fire. So I think there's a bunch of those that you could definitely get on. I mean, you can, if you push, you can get on Pat Flynn's Smart. I think so, because you already have been guest posted on his site. You've got an interesting story.
Yeah, I feel like I need a. My problem is that with podcasting is that I really don't want to talk about the giveaways thing anymore. because that actually is. It's not really related to my business. There's like list building is like a whole different little sub niche that I don't really want to do. And talking about that will attract the wrong kind of people for me.
Well, don't talk about that. Just use that as a credential.
But that's like my hook. I need a better hook. Is kind of like, yeah. I need another story to tell, and I'm still figuring out what that's going to be.
You've got some pretty. I mean, barbecue and pool party at Perry Marshall's house is. You know, you got some other ones there for sure.
So, but yeah, I've been on some smaller podcasts. A lot of actually get invitations pretty regularly. I probably do about 2 a month.
Oh, okay.
1 or 2 a month, but they're the smaller ones. I haven't gone after the big ones intentionally yet. So that's pretty much it for me.
Well, should we wrap it up here? Thoughts for the day? So.
Thoughts. We all stare at the wall above our screen when we get to this part.
I think mine would be just. I mean, I came to the absolute realization this week that, you know, and I've said this before, like, you know, that your passion, your hobby will become, you'll hate it if people pay you to do it. The deeper truth to that is when you feel obligated or when you feel like you have to, whether someone else enforces the rule or you do it, that's where you don't feel free and you lose your motivation and you lose your joy of the thing. But as soon as you feel like it's optional, as soon as you feel like it's something that you're doing because you want to do it, and then it is really just a perspective of attitude and mindset and giving yourself a little bit of freedom, then you have a lot more energy and a lot more. So, you know, just flipping the value of flipping that around, because I didn't intend to do that, but I did that by freeing myself, and then all of a sudden, bam, I'm reinvigorated, you know, and I don't know, you know, how long it'll keep up, but it certainly happened this week. So
that's pretty cool. For me, I actually kind of got just what's the word I'm looking for? I relearned how important goals are for me. I was realizing this week, on Monday, I just had like no motivation. I was like, what am I even doing here? I don't really want to do this. Or, I mean, I was like, well, you know, where am I going with this? You know, is it really just going to be, you know, project, you know, like, and just, so I was a little bit down, and then I was thinking about it, and like, I realized the lack of production that I've had, like, I haven't been all that productive, and so setting myself that, like, the goal of, just a silly goal of, having a daily quota and just producing more has really made my week a whole lot brighter.
Nice.
Like I want to train myself to write like 1,000 words an hour, and that's kind of like my focus right now. And you know, if I can do that, I can take on more client work. There's so many things I can do with that. So I'm just kind of focusing down on a skill, and it's been really helping.
Awesome. On Friday, I went to lunch with a 19-year-old programmer who moved out to Utah from Alaska, of all places. And he said that he had been listening to JavaScript Jabber, and you know, so we just chatted about tech for a half hour or so. And then as I was getting up to leave, he stopped me and he shook my hand, and he looked like he was getting a little bit emotional, and he said, "Your podcast changed my life."
Nice.
And I kind of went. I'm looking at him like, we just talk about code, you know. You know, we're not out to try and change the world per se, right? You know, it's kind of a nice thought, I guess, or that's kind of the thinking I had. But you know, for us, it was just, look, we like to talk about technology, we like to talk about it with each other, and we like that the audience gets it and likes it. You know, and that was kind of what it was for me, and so I really, you know, I kind of did a double take and thought about it for a while, and I realized that part of the message that we had been putting out there, without really realizing it, was that some of this stuff is hard, but if you really want it, you can do it.
Yep.
And that kind of thing changes lives. And it really occurred to me that no matter where you're at or what you're talking about, there are other messages that you're putting out there in the way that you present yourself and present what you're sharing. And those kinds of things can change people's outlook on life. And in reality, this inspired him to make a complete career change. He was cleaning carpets before. It wasn't like he was an accountant. Now he's a programmer. And it also inspired him then to look around Alaska and go, there's not a big enough tech community here for me to learn. And so he moved to Utah.
Wow.
And so it did change his life. And so just giving somebody that kind of hope or ambition, or giving people the message that they can, makes a big difference. And so I've kind of stopped taking for granted that the shows are just about tech. And I've talked a little bit about kind of the messaging and focus of the shows for a while. And we talked about the archetype that I've adopted as the explorer, but I really do like more of a guide archetype, and the idea that we can lead people to make these kinds of positive changes in their lives. And we're not going to go and preach to them, thou shalt write Ruby or anything, but we are going to give them that message that some of this stuff is stuff that you're going to struggle with, whether you've been doing it for 1 year or 10 years, and we're going to give them the message that if you really want it and you want to learn it, there are ways to do it, and you can make a positive difference in life. So I guess the overall thought is, if you are communicating with somebody, if you're teaching them, then you really do have that opportunity to make a difference for somebody.
Totally agree. Easy to lose track of that.
Well, and it's easy to think, well, it's just programming, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, or it's just business. Anyway.
All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.